Okay, level 2 is using properties of isosceles triangle and trapezoids. You learned a lot of this last year, so I want you just to pause the video and try them on your own and then play the video if you get stuck and check your answers. So go ahead and pause it, go ahead and give them a shot. If you don't remember, by all means, go ahead and play the video. Okay, hopefully you got a chance to try them. Remember, isosceles triangles mean that we have two congruent sides and then two congruent angles. How I find the angles is I trace, let me use a different color here. I trace the sides that are congruent. So the ones with these little tick marks, those are the ones that are congruent. Where those two lines meet at the 70-degree angle, that angle is the angle that's not congruent to anything, which means that the other two angles, A and B, are the ones that are congruent. Okay, so you can either think about where the two lines meet, that's not the angle that's congruent, or you can think about where the two congruent sides end, that's where the angles are congruent. Okay, so now that I know what angles are congruent, this angle, angle B, is labeled as 2x minus 5, so I can also label A as 2x minus 5. Remembering a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. To find out the value of x, I'm going to add angle A, which is 2x minus 5, plus angle B, which is another 2x minus 5, plus angle C, which is 70, and set it equal to 180. So remember, you have three angles that make up a triangle. So you should have three angles, 1, 2, and 3, that you're adding together to equal 180. So now I'm just going to combine like terms. So I got x to equal 30. And then it says find the measure of A. So all I'm going to do is take 30 and substitute it in for 2x minus 5. And that is going to equal 55. Okay, moving on to number 4. HIJK is an isosceles trapezoid. So what that means is I have two parallel sides, so IJ and J and HK are parallel, and then the other two sides, IH and JK, are the ones that are congruent. So now that I know, remember what an isosceles trapezoid is, I can find X, Y, and Z. So if you remember from level 1, you had parallel lines in your first problem, and we had a couple things going on. We could identify alternate interior angles, and those were the ones that are congruent. Or the other one that I told you that you could find out were same side interiors. And that's what we have here in isosceles trapezoid. Angle X and angle 55 are same side interior angles, and same side interior angles are supplementary, which means they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so as long as you have parallel lines, the angles that are inside those lines, but on the same side of this line that intersects them both, that I just highlighted in black, those are going to be supplementary. So I'm going to take 180 minus 55, which is going to get me 125, which is the measure of angle X. Okay. The other thing that I know about isosceles trapezoid is if it's isosceles, meaning if two sides are congruent, that means that the base angles are congruent as well as these top angles are congruent. So if the base angle down here is 55, that means Y is also 55. And if X was 125, that means Z is 125. So as long as it's an isosceles trapezoid, the two bottom angles are equal and the two top angles are equal. And then don't forget that the angles that are on the same side of a line, both inside the parallel lines, those are going to be supplementary.